This week on TGC News, an ultra-simple 22 that you might be able to buy, the court system in America functioning properly, and more rapid-fire news on Sig, Ruger, and Sig. The Connect QD M-Lock mounts from Kinetic Development Group offer the fastest and simplest way to get your M-Lock attachments securely fastened to your gun. Available in 5 different flavors, including 3 and 7 slot Picatinny, 45-degree offset, and more. You can bet that they're gonna have what you need. And guys, you know the drill. To get 10% off your entire order, use the code TGC10 at kineticdg.com. Welcome back to the only gun news show that covers things that you actually care about, TGC News. My name is Jon Patton, and I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone that has subscribed recently. The fact that so many of you want to come back and see content here on the Gun Collective warms my soul. Now, this week's first story is about a company best known for a gun called the Super Shorty, a tiny little 12-gauge meant for opening doors and things of that nature. Serbu Firearms is an interesting company. They don't spend a lot on marketing and flashy ads, and their guns don't really come across as having a lot of polish to them. This next thing is no different. Say hello to the GB22 or Gun Buyback 22. Serbu recently published a video detailing the concept and build on this thing, and I gotta be honest, I love geeking out over firearms design. I love seeing how things come together. Long story shorter, the GB22 is a concept that Mark Serbu has been playing with for years, and he touts that it is the simplest 22 ever made. He walks you through the entire process start to finish. The core of the gun is a CNC plate that includes the trigger and frame. The barrel is then welded or pinned to the frame, and the slide is made by screwing 2 pieces of CNC'd steel together. He even makes his own spring in the video. It's kind of neat. But the thing is, it's not for sale. So why does it matter? Why am I bothering to talk about this? Well, even though it's just a Slamfire 22, I think it would be a great survivalist type gun for people to keep around or throw together, or something that could be done as a project with your kids or something like that. Now, because the parts list is so short, your kids aren't really likely to lose interest while doing this. It kind of reminds me of Legos or Connect toys, or even building like a Pinewood Derby car in Boy Scouts. The end result is pretty clear, but the journey to make it is the fun part. What do you guys think? Would you ever buy a kit like this? And in laws actually working news, a judge has dismissed the case of Sandy Hook victims against Remington and a few other companies. I said I would come back to this when there was more info, and it's here. I covered this same story back in April of this year when the case was allowed to continue. The case has been dismissed on the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, which essentially protects firearms manufacturers from being sued in cases just like this. Oddly enough, though, the same act was what the defense attorneys tried to use to get the case dismissed early on, and were unsuccessful with that attempt. It's confusing to me. They tried to get it dismissed on that, then it was allowed to continue, and now it's dismissed on that same basis. It's weird. I'll let Adam dig into that. The thing that stands out to me about this case is that they're essentially not allowing people to blame the manufacturer of a firearm for the acts of a terrorist. This is a good thing. I've talked about personal responsibility plenty of times on the show, and this continues to drive home the point that we must be responsible for our own actions. Regardless of what some politician says, we are not all to blame, nor is the gun to blame for the acts of a psychopath. Now, while you're celebrating the law actually functioning in this case, be sure to stick around for a friendly fire question about buying or building. This week's friendly fire question is from Derek, aka 50% Tactical, and if you haven't seen his channel, you should go check that out. He asked a question via Instagram. Would you recommend building or buying a gun for someone's first AR-15? I may catch some crap over this, but I feel like buying a complete gun is a better option for first-time buyers. And even though my first AR-15 was a 50 Beowulf that I put together, I'll explain why I feel this way. Essentially, I think it's a good idea for someone to get familiar with the platform and learn the intricacies with a gun that will actually function properly out of the box, assuming, of course, that you didn't buy a lemon. Some guys, myself included, like to take the road less traveled and learn their own way, but I think for the masses, buying something off the shelf with intent to add to it later is the way to go. My friendly fire question to you guys this week: what is the highest recoiling gun that you've ever shot? I mean, something that really kicked your butt. Post your answer down in the comment section below, and if you want your question answered right here on TGC News, you can head over to theguncollective.com, go to the Friendly Fire page, and send me your questions.
The Transformer rail from Manticore Arms offers unparalleled versatility for both the AR-15 and now AK platform rifles. This free-floating rail system allows you to attach both M-LOK and key mod segments, Picatinny rail segments, as well as a host of other options. You can bet that almost any attachment will work. Available in OD green, flat dark earth, and of course black, this lightweight setup might be just what you need. To get 10% off anything you buy, use the code TGC10 at manticorearms.com.
It's time for another rapid fire news segment because there are some stories that just don't deserve an entire segment to themselves. First up, Team Sig has been disbanded. Yep, Sig Sauer, the gigantic company that keeps on growing, disbanded their competition shooting team. At this point, the reasoning behind this is entirely speculation, but it makes me wonder if Sig has something better up their sleeve, or if they're the first of many to question the ROI on sponsoring what are essentially salespeople that shoot a lot. Competition shooting teams are a gigantic marketing tool, and I'm wondering if they're kind of realigning their strategy. The only way to find out the answer is from Sig, and they aren't talking yet. Next up, Ian from Forgotten Weapons did a segment for Breach Bang Clear about something I never knew existed, a smart gun made by Sig. This was devised in the late 90s and allowed the user to program how long they would be using the gun and all kinds of other wacky things through a keypad. The reason it never took off was because silly things like the gun being locked if you punch in the wrong code 3 times, even after you take out the battery, essentially rendering it useless. Exactly what we talk about with current smart gun technology. I actually covered a brand not that long ago on the show that had a concept very, very similar to this, and I'm wondering if the Sig was actually inspiration for that new hunk of junk. And last but not least, Ruger has released a new version of the LCP called the LCP2, because apparently now guns have sequels. Key points about this thing: better grip, better trigger, and better sights. I'd be curious to shoot it next to the Glock 42 and see if it even gets close to being as good. And that is it for this week's TGC News. Guys, you know what to do if you enjoyed the episode. Hit that like button and share it with your friends. If you didn't like it, let me know down in the comments so we can talk about it. Do not forget to get subscribed. You won't want to miss a single week of the show. Please take a moment and head over to the TGC Gear Store if you want to support the channel. And as always, thank you all for watching. We'll see you soon. The shirts worn in today's episode of TGC News were provided by Patriot Patch Company. Click the link in the description to learn more.